Hello, this is Nicole Whitlock with the eCom Q4 Summit, and today's key feature speaker is Stephanie Inge. Now, Stephanie has been a seller on eBay for many, many years. She has blessed so many different sellers with her knowledge of what you need to do to be a successful seller on eBay. So, with that, I am going to let her have the floor. And Stephanie, the floor is yours. Let's go ahead and go over your amazing topic.
Okay, guys. Today we're going to be speaking about sourcing and scaling for Q4. But I need to just start out by saying I wake up every morning like next month is Q4. And I think that mindset keeps you on point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not scaling and sourcing all the time, like there's no tomorrow, I think you're behind. And so just kind of keep that in the forefront of your mind. And the first thing I recommend that you do in order to get ready for Q4, especially with all the new changes in the post office and our current state of economy, uh, I recommend that you stock up on your USPS shipping supplies, your FedEx, and your UPS, depending on who you use or all of the above. And as far as packing supplies, stock up on those too, just to be ahead of the curve. Because inflation, I know a lot of things are doubling and tripling in price. So kind of get ahead of the eight ball and order in bulk. So you're not only ready for Q4, but hopefully you'll beat inflation just a little bit before the price goes up again. And so, anyway, once you have all your packing and shipping supplies, you should be ready for Q4. And in my bonus handout, I have some recommendations for discounted shipping and discounted other things and ways that you can maximize your bottom line. So
So
be
I do
sure.
have one question for you.
Okay.
I do have one question. I didn't mean to cut you off. So when you do your personal shipping, like who is your preferred carrier? Would you say like
USPS.
USPS? Okay. All
And but the caveat there is the rule of thumb that I've always adhered to is 5 pounds and below. I stick with USPS and 5 pounds and above. But that's really all changed as of July 10th.
right. Mm-hmm.
So the cubic feet and all that and the girth is all changed. So you really need to educate yourself at USPS.com. I'm sure there's a plethora of information available, but it's critical to your business because they can now penalize us big time if we get it wrong, if we get the measurements wrong or the weight. And we don't need to be dinged for any more uh, money than we already are. So pay attention to your shipping, it's critical,
All right.
more so now than ever.
Do
Now,
you ever use a flat rate?
I never use flat rate,
Okay. All
ever.
right.
And the reason being is because the those boxes or the prices of those boxes is based on a 70-pound weight.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically if you're shipping a brick, something really really small and heavy, then it's to your advantage to use a flat rate. But I ship smalls and a lot of clothing and shoes, and none of those things are near 70 pounds. So I will give you an example though. I did ship a fur coat, a full length fur coat, which was very heavy and oversized. So if you have oversized and it may not be that heavy, you want to look at UPS or FedEx, or even pirate ship, because the oversize comes with a hefty surcharge, not a penalty, but a surcharge.
Yeah.
So there's certain instances where I have to use something else so it can be cost effective for the customer. But other than that, it's USPS all the way. And I, knock on wood, 23 years, I have never, ever had them lose a package or damage a package. That's
Really?
really saying something.
That is
Did a commercial
amazing.
for the USPS. But I'm just saying, uh, I'm a advocate. You know, I don't like all these changes, but they do a good job now.
Okay.
So anyway, as far as sourcing, I'm going to touch on retail arbitrage and thrifting because there's really two kinds of sourcing in my book. You may come up with a three and a fourth or third and a fourth kind, but
Hmm.
I'm talking about two. Retail arbitrage is basically where you go, you buy retail, usually on clearance, and you flip it for a profit.
Right.
Thrifting is where you go to a thrift store and you buy at deep discounts and you thrift it for a profit. Uh, I fall into the thrifters category and I've tried both. I've never done wholesale, but I have provided lots of wholesale information. If I have time, I'm going to get to that. But in my opinion, and we know what those are worth, uh, with thrifting, you don't have as much competition with the retailers and the Asian sellers because they can't knock off vintage. And I'm not saying I sell all vintage, but I might sell something that's 2 years old. Definitely not vintage, but it's retired. And so they're not going to knock off retired stuff. So that gives me a little bit of an edge. And in addition to that, my profit margins are huge. Example, I bought, most of you will not know what this is because I didn't. It was marked $4.11. It was senior day, so I got 25% off at Goodwill. And I looked this thing up. It was called a reed pleater made in South Africa. And I bought it $4.11 less 25%. I'm not a math person, so you do it, you figure it out. I sold it for $298 last week. That's what I call a profit margin. You're
Nice.
not going to get those kind of margins retail or wholesale. As a matter of fact, wholesale, your margins are usually this big. We're working on a very thin margin and have lots of competition. Because if you can get it online, so can everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But you're not going to find a pair of vintage, cowboy boots. You're going to maybe find a couple of them. And so I like to stand out and I like to uh, swim in a pond where there's not that many fish because
Yes.
it gives you more leverage. So,
Yeah.
anyway, that's kind of the difference the way I see it in retail arbitrage and thrifting and wholesale, which I'm not really going to go into today. But what I also recommend if you're doing retail arbitrage, okay, uh, to me, this is invaluable. Sign up for the cashback sites like Rakuten, Retail Me Not. There's, you know, probably hundreds of them. I've got three or four listed in my outline, and which I'm sharing with everybody. So you will get cash back and then sign up for the discounted gift cards. Okay. And you can get gift cards like $100 gift card online. And usually, if you get them online, they will also ship them to you. But if you get them online, you can use them in conjunction with the online purchase and you get them right away. So you get cash back. You buy like a $100 gift card for 75 bucks, sometimes less. And then you shop the sales. So you're like triple dipping. Okay. And so that really increases your bottom line. And that's what I call a power buyer or power buying. And so don't just go out there and buy something because it's on sale. Make sure that you're taking advantage of all the discounts available to you and that really cost you nothing. So it's going to really increase your bottom line. A lot of the retail, like big box stores, I have a list of those in here, uh, will offer free shipping. So a lot of times people don't want to shop online because you have to pay for shipping, and then you have to incorporate that into your price, which sometimes will price you out of the ballpark. So, it's kind of a touch and go. You have to know your market, which brings me to another topic, and that's doing your market research. I really can't recommend highly enough that you increase your product, your category, and your brand knowledge. Make that a daily activity. Use Terapeak. You can use uh, eBay completed listings. Do it by category. Then you're going to filter it, by completed, obviously, then filter it or sort it by highest first. Find out what's the highest price thing selling in your category. And think about when's the last time you did that. So
Yeah.
if you're out thrifting or outsourcing, retail, you'll know what to look for. It's like the holy grail of blank category. You want to know what that holy grail is, right?
Right.
Because when you get it, uh, you can start doing cartwheels. And I recently had a friend of mine who is in my eBay group tell tell me about a thing called Glassy Baby. Her name's Karen Coleman. Give credit where credit's due. I'd never heard of that, but don't think that's not on my bucket list. Looking for a glassy baby, and so Google it, and you'll find out, and maybe you can add that to your bucket list
There you
because
go.
you can get them for probably 59 to 99 cents at a thrift store and flip them for over $100. Seriously. So add it to your bucket list. And anyway,
Wow.
I could talk about this all day. Then you've got your old standbys for online sourcing. You got Facebook Marketplace. That's one of my favorites. I don't know if many people use this, but nextdoor.com is it like a neighborhood website, and you can expand it beyond your neighborhood to as many miles as you want. I mean, I'm in Rowlett. You can expand it to Dallas, and Rowlett's in Texas. I know this is a national thing. Okay, Craigslist, just beware of scams on there. I don't use it that often, but it's still viable.
Yeah. I was gonna say
Walmart,
I started off on Craigslist, so
I
yeah.
think we all did because back
Yeah.
in the day, that's all we had,
Yeah.
And now there's like Katie Bar the Door. There's so many. And I tell you, a very popular one these days, and I have a link with instructions on how to Google it because believe me, it ain't easy finding. And that's these Amazon liquidation centers. Have you been to one?
I haven't been to one yet. I have reached out so that
Okay,
we can do a
so
tour.
here's the deal the way most of them work. They usually open on Friday, and everything in the whole store is typically brand new. So there you go, online arbitrageurs. Okay, brand new, and it starts out at $6 or $7.
Mm-hmm.
The next day, it's $5 or $6
Yep.
until the last day, it's like $1 because they want to move it all out because the next truck's coming in. Believe me, you can stock up and you're going to have huge profit margins like that. Okay. So, like I said, I have instructions in my outline on exactly how to Google it to find one in your area. Hopefully, find several in your area.
And we're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, so we already know there's a couple.
Yes, I know there's one in Arlington. You're in Frisco, so I'm sure that y'all have everything out there. So anyway, those are some tips for retail arbitrage, and I'm as close as email or Facebook. If you want to pick my brain, I'm always available, always online. So let's touch on thrifting a little bit. And
Okay.
some of you might think I'm crazy. I've been called worse. Uh, but anyway, I want to talk about some of my best practices that I'd like to share with you. And some of these I've learned, from other people, some from my students. And I have some very smart students. Uh, but, they were in some other career, and I just they needed to learn eBay, but they had hidden secrets about other things. And what I'm talking about is one of my students told me one time it's all about relationships, because I went with her on her sourcing day one time, and she was sourcing vintage cowboy boots, and they're not readily available. So we started out in Dallas, went to Fort Worth, went all the way down 35 to Waco, and she would stop at these flea markets.
Oh,
Well, when we'd go walking up towards a booth or a table or whatever it was, people would start getting vintage cowboy boots out from underneath their tables and handing them to her. And I'm going, how do you do that? She said, well, she said, I asked them what their price is the first time she met them. They're dealers, right? And she
mhm.
says, what if I paid you more than that? What if I paid you $5 or $10 more than that? Would you source these for me during the week? And I'll be back every Saturday to pick them up. So she
Nice.
developed relationships
Yep.
with her dealers. And
Hmm.
so they were like her secret shoppers. And so you treat them that way, and they're going to work for you. And all you have to do is make it worth their while. The same is true when you go to thrift stores. You know who the friendly people are and who the kind of unfriendly people are.
Yes.
And so develop relationships with a few of the people you feel comfortable with at the thrift store. And believe it or not, I like to bring donuts because I usually hit the stores early, not right when they open, because I want to give them time to put out the new merchandise. But I like to bring them donuts. Who doesn't like a donut, right? Or three.
Yeah.
So they remember you for starters. So if they have a question about a price, they're usually going to say, oh, well, she's the one that brings the donuts. It's probably 99 cents, right?
Mhm.
Uh, but if you develop a really close relationship, you're not going to ask them to do anything illegal or something that would get them fired. But if you tell them, look, I'm a reseller and I love to buy Starbucks coffee mugs. If you see any, could you like email me or text me? Here's my card, or here's my phone number. And I've had them do that. My husband's been with me before, just case in point. And I walk in, they go, hey, Stephanie. Or I say, hey, so and so. I'll go, oh, girl. He said, if you know their names, you're sourcing, you're thrifting way too much. So, and I know other thrifters. And he goes, you're doing this too much. But he's retired. He barely knows how to use a computer. Uh, He's not stupid by any means. He's just not a computer or an eBay person.
There you
So
go.
get to know the people. It's pretty much a thankless job, and they don't make a lot of money. At
Right.
Christmas, think of them and thank them. Give them a little something. I usually give them a gift card, like, Chili's or, Olive Garden or something like that. A little bit goes a long way, you
Especially
know,
if that person
and
has been there for a
kindness
while.
kindness means a lot just in life, but
Yes.
in your business also. So relationships are very, very important to me. And as far as Christmas goes, I buy Christmas all year long, and at Goodwill and other thrift stores. It's not always available at retail stores. So, again, we're talking thrifting, but at the thrift stores, they have one aisle dedicated to holiday stuff, and there's Christmas 365 days a year. So
Yeah.
I look for collectible. I don't just buy any and all Christmas. I'm very selective, and I use my apps on my phone to know what to buy and if that item's going to sell, run comps.
Hmm.
I have all the apps and the programs I use in my presentation and on my handout. So I buy Christmas all year long. A
Hmm.
lot of people online buy Christmas stuff all year long,
Yes,
but
they do.
typically I start listing my Christmas stuff in August and September. So don't wait till November, like right before Black Friday, to start listing your stuff. Start listing it now so you'll
Yep.
have time to list it all. And hopefully you have some stuff. And then this is, to me, is very important because right now the inflation is through the roof. I mean, it's just insane. I drink a protein shake every day, and it's I buy them by the case. It's gone from $11 to $19 just in the last like 3 months. So it's not 7 or 8% like you hear on the news. It's almost double. With that said, people, other people are feeling the crunch at the gas pump in the grocery store. It's not, a fairy tale. We all feel it in our pocketbook. And so I think a lot of people are going to be buying secondhand items online where they normally would not do that.
Right.
So don't turn your nose out and go, oh, I'm not going to sell a secondhand item. You know, you'll find a lot of brand new with tag things, and I could spend 10 minutes going through my office showing you exactly what I'm talking about. But not all things are. But a lot of things are nearly new, or maybe worn once. And as long as you inspect your garments or inspect your items for chips, if it's a mug, a coffee mug, run your hands around the top and make sure there's no flea bites or nicks. So inspect things like you are going to use it yourself or give it as a gift.
Yeah.
And a lot of things are gift worthy. So don't discount buying things at the thrift store that you can advertise as a great Christmas gift. Now, uh, of course, I've already talked about researching categories to know like what's hot, what's trending. I've also mentioned in here about Google Trends. So if you really don't know what to sell, or you're just tired of selling the same old, go to trends.google.com and you can research things by keywords if or you can just do it by categories. So if you don't know, just spend a little while on there and get some ideas. We all know that toys are like the hot commodity at
Hmm.
Christmas, right? uh, we'll start noticing in September on Good Morning America and all the morning talk shows, they have some guru on there telling you what the hot toys are for this
Yep.
Christmas. Think about the kids' movies that have come out this year. They're always going to be something related to the movies, right? Because
Yep.
the kids want it all. But I have a hot toy list and a link to them in my outline. So that will be available. So I don't have to start rattling off websites. I've provided links for all of that.
Hmm.
And then I have to give credit where credit's due to you, Nicole, because a lot of the things that you can find in thrift stores are re gifted. And
Hmm.
I'll give you a perfect example of this. I was looking at CDs, and this was a new CD, and I know that a lot of you may not be golfers, okay, but I pick up this CD, and someone had written on the cellophane, the packaging. It said, uh, "To the Spieth family," something about golf. Jordan Spieth's family donated this CD that they got for Christmas to Goodwill. And so I just bought it for the heck of it. But so that's my example of regifting. So there's some things that, have been regifted. And so where I was going with this is think gifty. Okay. Like a lot of times you can find like a package of hot sauce, or bath bath soaps or bubble bath, like a little gift package with bubble bath, body spray, and stuff. And so sometimes you can bundle those items, even though they're not from a retail store. If you're at a thrift store, look for stuff like that that you could bundle. And again, bundling is your thing, but you can still do that with thrifting.
Yep.
And what that does, in my opinion, is it makes it more cost effective to ship, you know, and they just get more bang for their buck overall. And so, don't discount it just because it's at a thrift store. I've I've on my bonus, it's a bolo list, and it's like I tried my hardest to make it the ultimate bolo list because we do everything bigger in Texas, and I
We
want
do.
to raise the bar real high. So I hope you enjoy it wherever you are and whoever you are. Another one of my favorites is, let's say that you're housebound or you're handicapped. My mom is one of those, and you can still thrift online. Goodwill, it and I have a link. Has It's not buy it now. It's all auction style, but you can set alerts, and it's basically like the old eBay. Where
Mm-hmm.
you can do the proxy
Good.
bid,
Uh-huh.
and so it's from all the Goodwill stores across the country, and they're usually a 7-day listing. Oh God, my speaker, I mean my printer decided it was going to update right in the middle of this. It threw me. But anyway, I have sourced so many things oh my God.
Oh no, you're still here.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm hoping I can get out of it. Okay. Oh God. Doing a reboot, I'm going to have a coronary. Uh, oh God.
You're fine. You're fine. You were talking about thrifting, and you were talking about bids for thrifting for Goodwill. I think she froze just a second.
Okay. Then it froze. Okay, I'm going to close out some of the windows here. I think that may be what's. But anyway, uh, I lost my train. Oh, goodwill.com. So I have sourced so many things at goodwill.com. Their shipping tends to be a little steep, but there is a link on each item where you can estimate the shipping from their zip code to yours. And if you shop at your local stores, you can go pick it up so you can avoid shipping altogether. Uh, I got to get out of these other windows, guys. It's freezing.
She'll be back in just a second. So she has some great tips that she shared so far. I appreciate the tips. Her strategy of using Goodwill, her strategy of using, uh, finding vintage items. That is a great strategy. And then being able to charge a higher price. I was going to talk to her about it, so we'll wait till she comes back. But I know some people are like, I don't want to list all the time. Well, sometimes it might be worth your while if you find those things where you bought it for $1, $2, $3, and you can flip it for 50, 100, 200. That is always a good thing. So I do love that approach because then that means you can just list fewer things. I mean, just think about it. Like, what if you just listed like 5 things a day and each one of those 5 things had a $50 profit? So, not that they're all going to sell every single day, but again, if you keep that same strategy of everything that I list has a higher margin, it's worth the time that it's going to take to list it. It is unique, it is vintage. Then I have the ability to make more money doing that. So that's what I appreciate about her strategy. And you make more money faster. So you're back.
Oh, I'm telling you, I am so sorry.
You're
So
fine. I
apparently,
love everything that you've said so far.
uh,
Everything that you shared. I literally was talking about the
thank
fact.
God you could fill in for me.
Well, I love the fact that you go to the thrift store and you can find something for a higher price, or find something that's like $1 or $2 or $3, and turn around and flip it for 50, 100, $200. And what that does, some people are like not excited about creating listings because eBay's listing step process is a little long. But if you did that consistently, 5 listings every single day, no matter what, and so everything that you listed had a profit margin, let's say of $50, you could sell fewer things and still make a lot of money
Right.
because as they start to sell. So
Okay.
go ahead. I'm
One
sorry.
of
Go ahead.
my one of my uh, recommendations, because the last thing I was going to talk about is scaling for Q4, is setting your goals. Okay, we all have to have goals, but we got to step it up big time for Q4. So with 5 listings a day, which I think is kind of the average
Mm-hmm.
number, because that's always our least favorite thing. If you list 5 a day, change it to 10 or 15 a day. And if you're not able to do that, if just time will not permit, I recommend checking out Cellhound. I've had very good luck with them. At first, I was very worried about the quality of the listings, but they've done an excellent job. And you can sign up for 1 month or 2 months. And they all you have to do is fill in a couple pieces of information, size, brand, etc., and condition, and your images, and they create the listings for you. So you can sign up for a month or two and think of that as just a cheap virtual assistant to work during the holidays.
Love it.
And another app that you and I both use is List Perfectly,
Yeah.
and you can also sign up with them for a month or two to use them for cross posting. So you create one listing and you blast it out to several different platforms. So you're working smarter, not harder, right?
Correct. Yep.
And if you use Cellhound, they create that one listing and then you just blast it out to the other platforms. So think about doing that to scale your business, and it's going to be very, very beneficial for you. And one thing I really, really recommend, typically, I'm kind of relaxed and I set my pricing like most people do. I set it high so there's room for dickering, room to make offers and,
Mm-hmm.
discount the price. But during Christmas, our back's up against the wall. So
Yeah.
I like to price it to turn and burn.
There
Okay.
you go.
Because if you're stuck with it in January, you know, that's not a lot of fun. Although Januaries have been some of my best months.
Yeah.
So, anyway, uh, like I said, all this is going to be covered in my presentation, in my outline. Um, One thing, if you've not been real happy with your images, and of course a picture is worth 1,000 words, especially when you're selling online, because they can't reach out and touch it, they can't smell it, they can't feel it. So make sure your pictures are like as good as they can be. And I recently discovered it's probably not new, it was new to me, and it's free. We all like free. It's called Photo Room, and it is like photo editing for dummies. Oh my God. You just upload it, it does all the work. And it makes you look like you went to photography school. I mean, it really makes a big difference. So do yourself a favor. There's no registration. I mean, it's just use the program on your phone or on the desktop. So it's available wherever you are. Most people take their pictures on their phone nowadays. So you can do it all right from your phone. And what I've learned to do is take the images on my phone, but I create the listings on my desktop, and then I go and I save them as drafts. Then I go to my phone and then I upload the images from my gallery that I've done in photo room, and then I'm good to go. So, just a little shortcut there.
I love that.
Uh, List Perfectly, they have different prices. So, uh, I think that there may be a free one, but it's 29.49 and something else, but it's totally worth it. And again, you don't have to sign up for a whole year. Um, this is a big one for me. Listings become stale after so many weeks.
Yeah.
and they so the SEO or search engine optimization is suppressed. So refresh your listings. Don't just relist. Delist. If you have an eBay store, it's so easy to do. You just click a button, select the boxes of the items you want to delist. You delist them, then you go over to your unsold folder. You click all the same boxes, and then you click sell similar. So we're creating a whole new
Mhm.
listing, pretend like, and you get all that SEO juice, that Google juice,
Yeah.
and
So it
it
re-indexes everything. Yeah.
yeah, and it really
Mhm.
helps a whole lot. And then what I do, I take it one step further because that ain't just good enough. I always got to go over and beyond. I'm kind of OCD. Uh, I like to add promoted listings, and I'll just do a handful like every week to see if delisting and selling similar and then promoting those same listings. And what I do, because eBay's uh, commission is 12 or 13%, and I also sell on Poshmark, that's 20%, but no listing fees. So what I to think to myself is, okay, I'm paying 20% on Poshmark. I can afford to do that on eBay because most of mine are free there also. So what I do is use 7% to promote those that I've delisted and create sell similar to see. And chances are you're going to see a big increase in your sales. And if not, you haven't lost anything because you don't pay for promoted listings unless it sells, right? So anyway, hopefully that will work for you too. And create promo banners for your categories, your featured listings, and your promotions. So uh, the promotional banners is a fairly new feature with eBay, but it
Mhm.
really makes a big difference, and it just kind of makes your store stand out. So I highly recommend it. And it's very easy. You don't have to be a graphic design person. eBay has all that built in, and it's very easy. You can even create a logo if you don't have a store logo. Send offers to likers. Do it as often as you receive notice from eBay. I usually do it 2 or 3 times a day.
Okay.
If there's people in that list.
I
Uh,
will tell you that's one of the things I have not done consistently is to send offers to likers, and so I do
Try
need
it.
to step up my game.
Yeah,
I used to do it.
especially
I'm
during
just
the
saying I
holidays.
don't do it like I used to. So I need to remember to do that this Q4. So I'll put that on my VA list to send offers to
Yeah.
likers.
And, I always, this is just to me common sense, but I always treat people the way I want to be treated. And when I buy something, I want it yesterday.
Mhm.
So I truly believe in getting my items out the door the same day if possible, if not the next day. So, especially during Christmas, because they may be needing to gift wrap it and send it to Uncle Joe or whatever. So, think about all those things. And the mail runs slower during the holidays.
Yeah.
So, expediting your shipping process is very important, but even more so. So, that's one of my best practices. And then, as far as my daily tasks, because they're going to be a lot more of them during the holidays.
Yes.
If you don't have a VA well, an actual assistant that's in house to help you ship, trying to combine all my words together, ship, list. Of course, you can do that virtually, take pictures and all that.
Uh-huh.
I streamline or do everything in an assembly line fashion.
Yeah.
So I add things to my inventory once I get home with them or they get here in the mail. I clean them, which is not a fun task. But if you do it all at once, then you can put all your cleaning supplies up and then you photograph them and then I edit them. So editing used to be the hardest part of my job because it took so long until I discovered Zoom. And now I just like, oh my God, I feel like an angel came down and just dropped it in my lap.
You mean photo room? But yeah, you said Zoom.
Yes. Oh my God. I just sing their praises. Um, and then measure. I find so often people don't put measurements in. And I don't care if it's a shoe, a dress, a vase to put on a shelf. Their shelves may not be that high. So measure everything. It will reduce on shipping, I mean, returns, uh, and, negative feedback. People want to know what they're buying and they need to know what size it is. And so, especially in clothes, you don't want them sending those items back.
No.
So, measurements help a lot. There's an app, I don't use it, but it is available and it's really cool. It's called Sizely. They give you like a little drawing of different items, shirts, pants, etc. And then you can just insert the measurements to their drawing so you don't have to put up your tape measure, on the picture, which really looks kind of
Okay.
cheesy.
Yeah.
It's helpful, but it doesn't look professional. But Sizely is a cool app. And again, I don't use it, but it's very cool. And then brand, or like I one time I was so excited about a pair of cowboy boots. I was listening, I was putting all my keywords in and stuff, and I kept thinking, I can't believe those haven't sold. Like, what is the deal? And I went back, I revisited the listing to see if I could make some tweaks, and discovered that I didn't even, I was so busy to get it listed or so excited, I didn't even have the word boots in the title. I thought, oh my God, I am crazy. I really am. And so we all get in a hurry and we all forget. So go back if something's not selling and you really thought it was going to, you know, think of, go back and look at it and make sure everything's just the way you wanted it to be. And with that said, that kind of wraps things up as far as my outline goes, and I will be available on the Q&As. So if there's anything I touched on that you want to know more about, stay tuned. I'm not sure what day that's going to be, but Nicole is very efficient and she will have that listed when she starts her promotions. And I love helping people. And so if you can't get a hold of me on the Q&A, you can always reach me. I'll give her my email, my Facebook. Just reach out to me and see if there's anything I can help you with.
I am so grateful for your session. You gave me a couple more things to think about that I had not already thought about. I love your approach and your perspective to sourcing. We have a team member on our leadership who also does thrifting, and she's into vintage as well. And I just know like eBay is a great platform to sell things on. I know there's been a little bit of information here and there lately with people buying things and then selling it that's a high end. And so eBay giving them some challenges because of the chain of custody. And that's always a challenge for those who sell on eBay, because if you're selling thrifting items, you don't know the origin. All you know is you bought it from the thrift store, you have your receipt from your purchase from the thrift store, and that's as good as it gets. That's there.
Right.
That's your cutoff for your chain of custody. Have you ever run into any other challenges beyond that? eBay trying wanting more because you don't
Oh,
have that.
never, 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 never. Um, and just for the record, there's a lot more in my outline. I was just trying to
Oh
be succinct, and so all the links that I mentioned and many, many more are included in here. So be sure and look through it because you might find some very helpful things that can help you scale or start sourcing more product, or maybe you'll discover a new source. And
Absolutely.
I hope that I was able to help somebody somewhere.
I think you did. I think you did a fantastic job. So I do thank you for your time. For those people who upgraded to the All Access Pass, I just want you to know that you are going to get her amazing BOLO list. You want her BOLO list. She's not just been doing eBay for all these years for nothing. She clearly knows what she's looking for, what to source, what to get. So if you grab the All Access Pass, there'll be a link, I believe, down below. If you grab that, you'll be able to gain access to that BOLO list. So, Stephanie, I am so glad that you shared this information. If you all will just there should be a schedule that's posted. You'll be able to go and see when Stephanie will be available for the live Q&A, and we'll make sure that she's in the Facebook group so that if you have any questions you can definitely message her as well. So, with that being said, I am so glad that you're one of our key feature speakers. I love listening to you talk about eBay. You and I are going to get together and go do some shopping here locally. We
Yay!
yes, we had to do some shopping locally. And we are going to say goodbye for now. So stay tuned for the next session. And thank you so much for participating in the eCom Q4
It's my
Summit.
pleasure.
All right.